So I'm much more likely to watch broadcast news than listen to podcasts. And I have heard of Call Her Daddy, and I was curious about the interview style and what has made it so successful. I understand that a lot of it is the branding. Miss Cooper was very successful in utilizing social platforms to build her brand. I understand that prior to a few years ago, she had a partner, a co-host, and now she's solo. I listened to one episode with Chelsea Handler. It was great. And, I think, and I haven't watched a lot of episodes, but my guess is that, the host really studies the personality traits of the figures that she interviews, in addition to offering a conversational approach to her programming. So, for instance, when I listen to the Chelsea Handler podcast, Chelsea is, I don't want to say domineering, but she's certainly a dominant personality type and love to talk about herself. If you listen to it, you'll find that the host actually says very little throughout the whole podcast. She asks a couple questions, but lets the interviewee run with the show. That's a very effective style. Someone like me who likes to talk about themselves doesn't make for a great interviewer because we are so quick to bring up stories about ourselves and be reflective and talk about ourselves. There was very little ego in the host in terms of her persona. Now, I don't know her personally, but what was interesting to me was that she was very soft and very, very soft spoken, and also said really quite little and affirmed kind of what the interviewee was mentioning. So she let the program or episode take on a life of its own. It's very effective to be a great listener. The people that I know in broadcast journalism who've attempted to teach me about interviewing over the years, who I've collaborated on things with, will always say the greatest interviewers are the greatest listeners. My guess is this person is a great listener. In fact, if you have a therapist, your therapist would probably be a great interviewer. You might think, oh, they're quiet, they barely say anything, they kind of prod you a little bit, if anything. But that's what brings out the most in the person that you're interviewing, and being accommodating with regard to their personality style. For me, I'm so quick to want to talk about my story that I forget to accommodate the personality type and the style, the conversational style, if you will, of the person that I'm interviewing. That can be problematic, and it doesn't lend itself to the kind of flexibility that a really good interviewer does. That's why I typically, if I do interview people, I typically do it in print because I can ask them the questions and then they can respond, and then it doesn't, I don't impose on them nearly as much. So that's one way to do it. But in a podcast or broadcast style interview on TV or radio, you really need to be a good listener, and you really need to work on your interview skills. Thank you.